As a teacher, I find that our main responsibility and aim in education is to know your learners and build a positive and respectful relationship. By being inclusive, relevant, listening and caring to students can provide and provoke confidence within your learners. Deepening knowledge and encouraging opportunities allows development, which continuously follows with reflection and achievement. I believe that all lessons should contain elements of fun and inspirational demonstrations or activities. Moon, Hayes and Hutchinson see that most students were more willing to learn and participate if they witnessed the teacher to be friendly and relaxed and lessons were fun and interesting. Throughout my placement, I have learned that it is vital to understand a number of roles and responsibilities in an educational setting. Although you may not realise that you become an authoritative figure almost instantly once coming into contact with students and learners. However, it is within our contract to maintain our professionalism at all times. A member of staff can have many connotations, but it can also come along with a lot of duties for us to be responsible for. As members of staff, we need to ensure that we are dressed appropriately in front of both student and colleague and be able to acquire organisational skills both at school and in our personal life. To ensure we're giving students the best possible quality of education, we need to manage our time effectively, provide learners with efficient resources, and assist students into urging them into becoming the director of their present and future pathways. Working and contributing as a team in your department can develop and achieve a variety of goals and skills while progressing in your job role as a teacher. It delivers us with the continual professional development at all times, whilst in the company of our colleagues. In parallel to the matter at my sixth form placement, as well as the learners, us as role model teachers can certainly nurture, inspire and achieve. To succeed in my placement and secure my knowledge of school policies and expectations, I am able to attend NQT and PGCE meetings, where we meet for knowledge to communicate and share experiences in all subjects to focus on our growth and development into becoming an outstanding teacher. In consideration that my current training is maturing in post-compulsory, I regularly attend post-16 meetings to explore and further my skills for operation whilst teaching post-16 learners. To expand on my familiarity in post-16 educational settings, I involved myself in a sixth form open evening. Here I was very useful in sharing my experiences on previous courses, job roles and future aspirations, in aim to inspire and motivate learners. I was successful in deepening their awarenesses of life outside school and sixth form, informing them of additional or alternative routes, highlighting positive points and reassuring concerns. As my job role broadens, I have been given the opportunity to facilitate a dance showcase, where I will support students to assist in costume changes and help with managerial aspects of stage and lighting, and market the performance to staff, students and parents. Although I have apprehended a mixture of fears and feelings towards this role, I feel highly content with my current state and achievements, and have appeared to be making a confident start and beginning to my journey. At my placement, I feel that I've been able to develop my learning and teaching strategies effectively in a short time. In my opinion, I feel I've comfortably built a professional, respectful and helpful rapport with my learners, especially in dance where students appear to lack confidence, and where encouragement and respect is admired by students. I find learners have the tendency to cooperate with both myself and their peers once the dance lesson or stimuli is relevant and they can show and express their relationship with it. Students find that when I can demonstrate, for example, a dance without any performance skills and one with, they are quick and eager to respond with positives, weak areas, and improvements, which in turn can be identified through their practice, once picking up on my faults. For different lessons, ages and abilities, this does not always work, as I'm currently finding ways to adapt to this. As Brendan and Josie Harvey have shown in creative teaching approaches, the roots are our knowledge and passion for the subject, which reflect the syllabus or schemes of work. The trunk which shows us at the teacher, which through our personality and experience can filter and channel ideas to the learners. The branches appreciating each individual learner through learning strategies. The leaves are our outcomes, where we can imagine each one of these falling off once it has been learned and fulfilled. As I've been reflecting upon my teaching, I've noticed the improvement of my students as I use and encourage trial and error methods in creative work. In dance, I gradually hear, I can't, to, I'm trying, to, I've finished, what's next? Edward Thorndike and his behaviourist theory can replicate with animals what I believe is happening in my lessons. He states, these learning curves did not suddenly improve, but it did, however, gradually shorten the time which was spent on the task. Also, the cognitive approach which was advanced by Kolb proves that what we learn and know have been formed around the experience we have had. It is broken into 4 stages: a concrete experience, reflective observation, an abstract conceptualization, an active experimentation, and so it continues. Here I now believe I am able to establish an environment where making mistakes feel comfortable and I can feel my students reflecting and improving. Through previous observations, I've discovered that there is a great need for students to be aware of their learning outcomes throughout the lesson. I feel that I can make deep improvements made by myself to ensure the outcomes are communicated. My improvements now concentrate on being specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. As Sue Carey observed, targets can harness your students to a natural sense of competition, perhaps against each other, but more importantly against their own achievement. In addition, I also feel differentiation is another improvement. For example, creating alternative motives for less able learners so they are still achieving. However, I do feel that I can provide a good collection of resources in my lessons which encourages challenges and caters for their preferred learning style. For positive and effective teaching to take place, it is important, in the words of Vicky Duckworth, that monitoring the level of what is being understood pedagogically, the testing of resources and their validity, and making judgments about the engagement of your classes provoke you to make amendments immediately, ultimately consequencing in a change and improvement in your teaching. At the start of the lesson, outcomes are always clearly displayed, shown, or demonstrated. However, depending on changing facilities and practical or theory lessons, I find that most teachers tend to hover around the entrance, which, although I can understand that it moves students along and shows urgency to learn, I see it quite intimidating and would consider a more relaxed position. However, there is considerable clear relationship with most students and eye contact is present and in a comfortable environment. Question and answer are always delivered with start activities where it allows both teacher and student to decrease the gap of what we are going to learn to what we are learning. There is consistency of students thinking for themselves or with peers, where students appear to be taking control of their learning. Communication can always be seen with peers, and the teacher always encourages this. However, depending on class type and ability, it is sometimes seen as an opportunity to go off topic. Therefore, most of the time I have witnessed a countdown or a time-limited discussion. English and maths are made aware in lessons but are not always addressed directly. Keywords definitions can be present, along with numerously linked aspects such as diagonal or parallel, as well as counts and varied timings. Problem solving was sometimes difficult to present, and often left students confused as to how maths was related to dance. Therefore, as I continue with my teaching, my aim will be to embed numeracy and make it available to all abilities. Switching strategies and tasks was exciting to observe, and learners were involved and engaged, and the pace was fast with subtle dissolve into each task. Stretch and challenge was identified, and learners were occupied as the difficulty level rose. Students were further focused, although some students were left deflated as they fell behind their peers. Nevertheless, they were still achieving, and they were constantly reassured of their progress. The sixth form still offers the same behavioural policy as it was when they attended school, so they are already aware of consequences. Once a student breaches this, they are issued with warnings, therefore effective, although if a consequence was delivered and dealt with, it would provide more efficiency. Even now this applies to more those studying in years 10 and 11. Peer and self-assessment triggers a summary of the lesson. Students are questioned on learning and asked how activities relate to the outcomes. Progressive flight paths are filled in or shown to highlight achievement. Learners can be reinforced of their behaviour or success with a house point or similar treat, encouraging positivity and leaving the room respectfully.